approximately 623 homicides for the year. However, the focus of homicides and this murder rate is not the main reason why the decision was taken to call this state of emergency.
So here we go in Trinidad and Tobago. It has started now, the battle between the political parties over the state of emergency. KAMLA calls Rowley coward, and on this yesterday, Rowley was not at the press conference. It has been stated that his brother died, and so he was absent. People still saying that's no reason for him to be absent from the press conference, which at the time the nation really needed to see him. But what's going on with KAMLA, and why is she calling Rowley a coward? Well, let's go through the article from the Trinidad Express. So KAMLA says Prime Minister Rowley is a coward and calls Rowley coward for being absent. Opposition leader KAMLA Besseser has launched a scathing attack on coward Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley and his government inability to address crime. Remember recently we talked about Munilal says he was running away from it, The former Prime Minister stated that in a media release yesterday that the lack of seriousness surrounding the state of emergency is evident, as Rowley did not consider it important to attend a news conference held by the Acting Attorney General Stuart Young and the National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines suggested to Sunday. And I said to you yesterday that Young was thrown in front of the bus. Take control, Rowley says, because I'm not going to face the people on this one. You take it, right? She claimed the Prime Minister instead chose to golf in Tobago. So it's almost like Nero playing the fiddle while Rome burns. That's the problem. So the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago is the head of the National Security Council, yet he has gone into hiding. Is he afraid of the very criminals that have caused so much death and destruction in our country? How can it be that with over 625 persons murdered in 2024, the Prime Minister could not find the courage to address the nation? This is undoubtedly the most insulting act of cowardice and disrespect we have ever witnessed from this lazy, greedy old man, she said. So with 625 in 2024, the criminals are running rubbish to the island. And she says that Rowley is a coward because he's missing. Besseser described the SOE as a shameless political gimmick and a band-aid solution in an election year that fails to address the root cause of the crime. I think she has a lot of views that I'm having. This government is out of ideas and out of time. Coward Rowley has no plan and is hiding from the violent crime crisis he and his government have contributed to over the last 10 years. No plans were provided for the post-SOE, she stated. Besseser reminded the public that earlier this year, in January, she had called for an SOE, correctly predicting that the failure to do so would result in a murderous year. Remember, I said to you that when Young stated that they were not going to have a curfew, and he said it's not because 61 was murdered in December and 623 for the year, that was not the cause for the state of emergency. I said, what folly, what nonsense is this? They really don't care, right? She further recalled being wrongly condemned by the Prime Minister and his political and business community supporters. Many lives could have been saved, and that's what I said. They had heeded my advice at the beginning of this year. His prior refusals and condemnations clearly indicate that this SOE is Rowley's last desperate attempt to convince the population that he has a crime plan on the virtual eve of general elections in Trinidad and Tobago, Besseser said. It's nothing short of Vic 5 propaganda gimmick. Public relations tool for election purposes, especially since it precedes the Rowley government planned Tobago retreat over the weekend at taxpayers' expense to allegedly plan a parliamentary agenda, she says. Pathetic news conference. Besseser criticized the news conference hosted by Young and Hines, described as pathetic. She said it demonstrated the SOE was not called anyone concerned for citizens' safety, but rather as a shameless act of political gimmickry ahead of the election. And she said that the government is drowning in self-made failure and has again resorted to using the dead cat tactic, whereby they can take a shocking announcement to divert attention away from society's problems and issues. The government continues to embarrass itself and has become a laughing stock, she said. She also pointed to contradictions between Young and Hines' statements regarding the rationale for the SOE. They contradicted each other regarding the justification for the SOE. According to Hines, the proclamation was necessary due to the crime statistics, while Young contradicted himself, insisting it was due to high incidence of high caliber weapons used in murders over the last few days and anticipated reprisals. That's a government in confusion. She also criticized the government's method of announcing the SOE. The country awoke this morning to the dubious press release that declared the SOE but provided no details or even identifiable officials marking, and it was rapidly condemned as fake news by most people, she said. It was terrible. It was really terrible, and I pointed that out in the video I did yesterday. It was really, really horrible. But this is going to be the back and forth. Leave your comments in the section below, guys, because this is necessary. Want to know what you think about it? Leave your comments in the section below.